Have you ever felt that nagging whisper of doubt, the one that questions your worth, diminishes your accomplishments, and tells you you're not quite good enough? That insidious voice, often born from past experiences, can hold us captive, preventing us from truly thriving. But what if there was a roadmap, a practical guide to silencing that inner critic and cultivating an unwavering sense of self-worth? Welcome to Visual Books. Today, we are exploring the Self-Esteem Workbook, a transformative journey designed to help you build a stronger, healthier foundation for how you view yourself. This isn't just about positive affirmations, it's about deep, meaningful, and lasting change, one thought, one action, one honest reflection at a time. Let's delve into its wisdom, chapter by enriching chapter. Chapter 1: Understanding Self-Esteem. This foundational chapter invites us to first define what self-esteem truly means, distinguishing it from mere arrogance or superficial confidence. It helps us differentiate between authentic, stable self-esteem, a deep-seated respect for oneself regardless of external circumstances, and fluctuating self-confidence, which often hinges on performance or external validation. The book provides illuminating examples, contrasting someone whose self-worth plummets after a minor mistake at work with someone who acknowledges the error, learns from it, and maintains their overall sense of competence. The actionable advice here is to begin journaling, to observe your own reactions to success and failure, and to identify the moments when your self-esteem feels robust versus when it feels fragile. This initial self-awareness is the crucial first step. Chapter 2: Exploring the Roots of Low Self-Esteem. Here, we embark on a journey into our past, to uncover the origins of our negative self-beliefs. The workbook guides us through identifying critical messages we may have internalized from parents, teachers, peers, or even societal expectations. It asks us to recall specific instances where we felt criticized, shamed, or inadequate, helping us see how these early experiences shaped our core beliefs about ourselves. For example, a child constantly told they are clumsies might grow up believing they are inherently inept. The actionable advice is to create a belief map, charting the negative core beliefs you hold about yourself, such as "I am unlovable" or "I am a failure," and tracing them back to their earliest known sources. Understanding where these beliefs came from is key to dismantling their power. Chapter 3: Challenging Your Inner Critic. This chapter tackles the relentless internal monologue that often undermines our peace and confidence. It teaches us to identify the voice of our inner critic, the harsh, judgmental part of ourselves that whispers doubts and recriminations. The workbook offers potent examples of common critical statements, such as "you always mess things up," or "why bother, you'll just fail again." The actionable advice is to engage in a direct dialogue with this critic. First, externalize it, give it a name, or imagine it as a separate entity. Then, systematically challenge its assertions by seeking evidence against its claims. For instance, if the critic says you always mess up, recall specific instances where you succeeded. It encourages you to reframe criticisms into objective observations or even constructive feedback, stripping them of their emotional venom. Chapter 4: Unmasking Cognitive Distortions. Here, the workbook introduces us to the common mental traps our minds fall into, ways of thinking that distort reality and fuel negative self-talk. It meticulously explains distortions like all-or-nothing thinking, overgeneralization, catastrophizing, and mind-reading. A prime example might be getting a B on a test and engaging in all-or-nothing thinking, concluding, "I'm a complete failure." The actionable advice is to become a thought detective. When you notice yourself feeling bad, pause, identify the specific thought. And then, using the list of cognitive distortions, label the distortion at play. Simply recognizing it can begin to lessen its hold, allowing you to then reframe the thought more realistically. Chapter 5: Developing Self-Compassion. This chapter pivots from challenging negativity to actively cultivating kindness towards oneself. It emphasizes that self-compassion is not self-pity or weakness, but a powerful act of self-care, especially during times of struggle. The workbook offers examples like treating yourself with the same understanding and empathy you would offer a dear friend facing a similar challenge, rather than berating yourself. It distinguishes between healthy guilt, which motivates change, and unhealthy shame, which paralyzes. The actionable advice is to practice self-compassion meditations and exercises, such as placing a hand over your heart and acknowledging your pain with kindness, or writing a compassionate letter to yourself. It encourages mindful self-soothing and recognizing our common humanity in suffering. Chapter 6: Building Assertiveness and Boundaries. This crucial chapter moves beyond internal work to how we interact with the world around us. It teaches us the difference between passive, aggressive, and assertive communication, emphasizing that true self-esteem allows us to express our needs and opinions respectfully, yet firmly. Examples include saying no without guilt, expressing disagreement constructively, or requesting what you need from others. The actionable advice is to practice I statements and to identify areas where your boundaries are weak. It encourages starting with small, low-risk assertive acts, such as asking for specific details or expressing a mild preference, and gradually building confidence. Chapter 7: Cultivating Your Strengths and Values. This chapter shifts focus to identifying and celebrating what makes you uniquely you. It guides you to recognize your inherent talents, skills, and positive qualities, often overshadowed by self-criticism. It provides exercises for listing past accomplishments, no matter how small, and identifying your core values, the principles that truly matter to you, such as integrity, creativity, or kindness. For instance, someone might discover they are naturally empathetic, a strength they hadn't fully appreciated. The actionable advice is to consciously engage in activities that align with your values and utilize your strengths. Make a strength resume and commit to daily actions that reflect who you truly are and what you stand for, reinforcing your sense of purpose and competence. Chapter 8: Navigating Relationships with Self-Esteem. Our relationships profoundly impact our self-esteem, and this chapter explores how to foster healthy connections. It helps us identify patterns in our relationships that might be contributing to low self-worth, such as people-pleasing or gravitating towards critical partners. It gives examples of how a person with low self-esteem might tolerate disrespectful behavior, while someone with healthy self-esteem would set clear expectations. The actionable advice is to evaluate your current relationships through the lens of self-esteem, asking whether they uplift you or diminish you. It encourages setting stronger boundaries within existing relationships, seeking out supportive connections, and even making difficult decisions about relationships that are consistently detrimental to your well-being. Chapter 9: Embracing Imperfection and Vulnerability. This powerful chapter challenges the myth of perfection and the fear of being seen as flawed. It posits that true self-esteem isn't about being perfect, but about accepting your whole self, strengths and weaknesses alike. It uses examples to illustrate how striving for unattainable perfection often leads to anxiety and self-condemnation, whereas embracing vulnerability can foster deeper connection and authentic self-acceptance. The actionable advice is to practice imperfection exposure, purposefully allowing yourself to make small mistakes, or to be seen as less than perfect, and observing that the world does not end. It encourages sharing your authentic self, including your struggles, with trusted individuals, finding courage in openness rather than hiding behind a facade. Chapter 10: Sustaining Your Self-Esteem Journey. The final chapter emphasizes that building self-esteem is an ongoing process, not a destination. It provides strategies for maintaining the progress you've made and for navigating future challenges. It offers examples of how old patterns of self-criticism might resurface during times of stress, but now, armed with new tools, you can respond differently. The actionable advice is to create a self-esteem maintenance plan, incorporating daily practices like mindfulness, self-compassion breaks, and regular check-ins with your inner critic. It also encourages celebrating your progress, recognizing moments of growth, and understanding that setbacks are part of the journey, not failures. The key is consistent, compassionate practice and a commitment to lifelong self-care. The Self-Esteem Workbook is far more than a book, it's a profound invitation to reclaim your inherent worth. It provides not just theoretical understanding, but a practical, step-by-step methodology for transforming your relationship with yourself. By consistently engaging with its exercises and insights, you can move from a place of self-doubt to one of unwavering self-respect and genuine self-love. Thank you for watching. If you found this summary helpful, please like this video, subscribe to Visual Books for more summaries, and share it with someone who would benefit.